Timidity is, to me, one of the worst sins people have, right? And it's what is causing you to not be successful in life. Boldness is the most important quality that you can develop. Some people are born bold and others are born timid. When we're a child, we're bold as hell. They know what they want, they scream, they yell, they get their parents to do things. You become timid, it becomes a habit. You become afraid, you're always saying yes, you're always trying to please people. Your face just becomes like that, and you lose a sense of that boldness that you once had. People are complex. I'm complex. I have several sides to me. I'm not just, this one-sided person that's only interested in power or anything like that. On the one hand, science is revealing an insane sublimity of this world. That we now understand the first few minutes of the universe and the Big Bang, and that they've been able to photograph a black hole, and that we understand that life originated from the explosion of stars. All of these thoughts are mind-boggling, and science is revealing it. So the paradox is we live in a world now where the sublime is just exploding all around us in the discoveries, but people's minds are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and constricting to the size of their phones. So it's personal, but I'm on a mission because I want to wake people up. I'm very much disturbed by the way things are headed. People think that the world is just what it is, the brute facts of life, and that anything having to do with spirituality or religion or ancient cultures is just superstitious, is irrational, which is absurd because we're not just here out of context. We've evolved over thousands of years, and the minds that created religions, but we just didn't emerge out of nothing. The religious aspect of life, the spirituality that was developed thousands of years ago, is still within us. The thought patterns are still within us. The need for some kind of transcendent experience that takes you out of the banality of daily life, what used to be called the sacred versus the profane, is still within us. We're not suddenly modern, it's still inside of us. And yet we're denying it because we're afraid of those animalistic, superstitious, quote-unquote, irrational aspects that are deeply embedded in our nature, because we want to feel like we're so modern and sophisticated. We're way beyond all of that. And to be cynical and see the world in that disenchanted lens is now projected as being intelligent, which I don't think it is at all. It's very common in the literature that people say that they've never felt so alive as in the moments that they were facing death. When you're alive, you're not really living, but that suffering and knowing that you have only like a week or 2 weeks to live suddenly makes you feel more alive. And the reason is that we live with this kind of social mask that we carry around with us that's not very real. We're always pretending, we're always smiling, we're always saying things to please people. We're always worried about ourselves, our survival, how we're going to make money in the next few weeks. And then when that drops out, when you know that it doesn't mean anything anymore because you only have a few weeks, a few months to live, you suddenly go, whoa, it's like a liberation. I'm free. I'm like flying in the air. It's wonderful. You're rid of all that crap. And social media is just like a cesspool of all those very petty things. I'm not saying it's all that way because, there's some things on my phone. I have a meditation app that's very interesting and I love it. It's not all that way. But social media is mostly just a cesspool of such banality as opposed to these kind of cosmic things. We're conscious creatures and we're conscious for a reason. It's a freak occurrence. We don't even know if there's anything out there in the universe like it. It's a thing that you don't want to waste. You're only alive for several decades. You could die at any moment. It's something that you need to use for something beyond just what people are eating and shopping and things like that. Well, the people who go through a near-death experience then come back. It's very much documented. It's not all, there are very many different versions of that. But most people say that it stays with them for the rest of their life. They're never the same after that, which is kind of striking because I can't think of anything other human experience that you could say that about. I've taken many drugs before myself when I was younger, and they were amazing experience, but they didn't completely transform me. And I don't think therapy does, and I don't think taking pharmaceuticals are going to do that. But death has that effect, I do Zen meditation. I've been doing it for about 16 years every morning. about 40 minutes of it. And in Zen, there's this idea of like, you reach this kind of ultimate enlightenment. That's the whole point that you're aiming at. When you reach that stage, you're supposed to be able, it's complete integration with daily life. You can actually function in daily life on a higher level than when you're so infused with the self and you're always so insecure about what are people thinking about me, and you're so locked in your own ego. When you get out of that, you actually function in a higher level in daily life. So if your baby is screaming and you have to feed it and you have all these banal chores, actually the banal chores are part of enlightenment. You're in the moment, you're happy, you're dealing with it, as opposed to worrying about it, anxious and having all these recurring thoughts. So if you transcend, this book in the Sublime shouldn't be about a sharp delineation between everyday life and the sublime. It should suffuse your everyday experience and actually make you integrated on a higher level. So when you reach that level, you've mastered the piano, for instance, the self kind of falls away and you become the keyboard. The piano is inside of you. You don't have to think anymore. So reaching that high level of performance in sports, in culture, in technology, in science, it's like you're not thinking anymore. You're living it. It's inside of you and it comes out that way. It's like you've spent the proverbial 10,000, 20,000 hours working on something and it's internalized. Your whole mental landscape has been transformed by all of this practice, that you become the work itself. It's an odd feeling, but when I'm writing, it's like I feel like I am the words, I am the writing itself. And the mathematical sublime is the sense of infinity, right? Of timelessness. Our consciousness, we can become aware of infinity, of the universe being infinite. There's limitlessness. And it's a concept that you can't really put in words, you can't really analyze because it doesn't really fit into any category, right? But we're capable of that. Well, the internet is infinite. It's an infinite space. It could be fascinating. It could be a realm of exploring, of experiencing, of opening the mind. Instead, it's a tool now for closing the mind. When anything is created, like a religion, political idea or something, it's got a sparkle to it. It's new, it's fresh, it's original. It's related to life. And then as time goes on, centuries pass, it loses that spark, it loses its origins, and it in fact turns into its opposite. But everyone's the same. The wealthy will not get into paradise. You have to be meek, you have to be like a child. It turns into its opposite over time, right? So the internet was one of those things. That's human nature. Something starts off great, and then something about us, our dark side, pulls it into this other thing. That's happened before in many other ways. The problem is, in this era of social media, we have so much information coming at us that we're confused and we're distracted, right? There's all this noise, this static going on in your brain. You're hearing what people are having for lunch. You're hearing about this outrage, this problem. You're not able to focus. So the main thing here is you got to really, really go into yourself. You got to cut out all that crap. You're taking it seriously. Because a lot of people who come to me, I can tell right away they're not serious about it. Maybe Robert can help me figure it out. No, you have to figure it out. It's not up to me. You're not taking it seriously. You're playing a game. You kind of have dreams and you wish. No, you got to take this seriously. Your life is at stake. Time is short, you could die tomorrow. Life is shorter than you think, so you don't have time to waste. So take this thing seriously. That's the number one thing I tell people. And what take it seriously means is it requires time, all right? You're gonna carve out, let's say, a week of real focus, and I think you could do it longer than that. But let's just say in your scenario, a week of clear focus, all right? You're gonna get a journal, a book, or if you do it on a computer. I recommend an actual book because the brain and the hand, there's a process, there's a magic that goes on when you handwrite something. I'm not asking you to handwrite everything, but in this case, writing in a journal is the best idea, I think. Okay, so you're going to start writing in a journal. You can even sometimes voice record it, because I do that too as well, if that's something you prefer. But I don't want you to be on the screen all the time, okay? I want you to be really listening to yourself deeply. Okay, so you're writing things down. You're going to start writing. You're going to begin by saying, these are the things that I love, and these are the things that I hate. And you can put it in you can divide the page in half and do that if you want. So to give you an example, things that you hate and dislike are a very important part of figuring out your life's task. Now, personally, I didn't figure out what I was really meant to do, which is writing these books, until I was about 38 years old, okay? I was kind of lost, and I was kind of wandering. But the one thing I knew, and I knew at a very early age, is I hate working for other people. I hate working for other people. I hate the politics. I hate the egos. I like to control things. I need to be somebody who works for myself, right? I can't work for other people. I'm really bad at it. I never held a job for longer than 10 or 11 months in my entire life. I was always dissatisfied, quit, and whatever, okay? So knowing what you hate is very important for knowing what you love. So you cut things out. You cut all the stuff out that you don't want to do. You're not interested in math. You're not interested in numbers. You're more of an idea person. I don't know what it is, but you're going to write down the things that you love, the things that you hate in the present moment. What this is really about, Sam, is you're connecting with yourself, right? Because you're not connected to yourself. And that's the number one problem people have in this world. They're listening to other people. They're imitating other people. Oh, this is a cool person. I want to be like him or her. No, you got to be yourself. You're not connected to yourself. So this journaling process is going to take you through several days of reconnecting with who you are. The other thing that you need to do is you need to go into your childhood, into your early years. So we begin by looking at the present moment. I hate working for other people. I love this kind of subject or this kind of thing in the world. Now I want you to go deep into your childhood. I compare it to being like an archaeologist. You're making a dig. You're not going back millions of years. You're going back to when you were 4 or 5 years old. And I want you to, because in those early years, you were open to the world. You were really open. As we get older, we get really closed. Certain things excited you in a way that you can't even recall. It's not the same to you now, right? It didn't have to do with words. It had to do with feelings. So I tell the story, I told you, like Steve Jobs. There's the story of Tiger Woods with his father in the garage. He's like 2 years old, I don't know, something like that. His father is hitting golf balls in the garage. You know, there's one of those little plastic balls against the wall. And Tiger is sitting there in his baby chair and he's getting so excited. He's kicking his legs. Oh my God, this is incredible. Right then and there, he had discovered his life's task, basically. It wasn't like an intellectual process. It wasn't, well, I'm 2 years old and golf is really interesting and I'm going to study it. It was in his heart. It was something deep. You can't put it into words, right? You had that moment. It's almost pre-verbal, but something really, really excited you. For me, when I was a child, it was language and words. I was obsessed with words and books and just the magic of a word itself. It like boggled my mind. How incredible. You had those moments, whatever it was. So we're going back into your childhood and we're digging and we're digging and we're digging. You also have to cut out all of the other voices. Part of the journaling is, I listened to what my friends were telling me. I listened to what my parents were telling me. Cut all that and listen to yourself, that there are 5 kinds of intelligence. And some of it has to do with math and patterns. Some of it has to do with words. Some of it is kinetic. It's just the body and moving the body. Some of it is social, okay? Some of it involves music or visual things. Every human being has one of these intelligences that stands out, that kind of dominates their brain. So it's not a trivial thing. It's something more deep. It's something more primal. It's about a certain direction that your brain heads in. And the problem with parenting is you're projecting onto your child what you like, what your interests are, who you are. You're not understanding that they're an individual. But the main thing you want to do is you want to let your child discover that for yourself. You don't want to push them in a direction that you think is better for them. You want
to let them discover it for themselves. Even if it's something that you think isn't good for them, that, oh, you can't make a living at that. You want to encourage them because you want children to be excited by learning. If you turn your 5-year-old off from learning for whatever reason, man, you're a bad parent. I'm sorry to say. That's the number one thing. They've got to be excited by something. What is that thing that they're drawn to?